Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for attending once again. I want to start out by acknowledging that I think our interactions at the end of yesterday's press conference went a little sideways. So I apologize if some of you feel that I didn't fully answer your questions. Our main focus here really is to get these people in custody who are responsible for these acts, inform our community with as much information as we can, as quickly as we can, and that's exactly what we attempted to do. So I'm going to turn it over to Captain Alfelt. He's got some very exciting updates and information that I think will go a long ways in alleviating public safety concerns that many of you asked about yesterday. Sir?
All right, thank you, Chief. And good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here again. As we announced yesterday, in the early morning hours of August 3rd, there were 2 homicides committed within the city of Fargo in a very short period of time. One in the 50 block of Broadway, in which 20-year-old victim Azim Holmes was murdered. 2 others were injured at that location from gunfire. And a second in the 4700 block of 16th Avenue South, in which 20-year-old Elijah Hughes was murdered. Today we're here to announce the arrest of Ciandre Douglas, a 20-year-old with no permanent address. Yesterday evening, Douglas was located in Jamestown, North Dakota. After a brief foot chase, he was arrested for 2 open warrants, one for felony-level reckless endangerment and one for felony-level aggravated assault. The open reckless endangerment and aggravated assault warrants had been issued by the Cass County State's Attorney's Office last week and are in relation to a shooting incident in South Fargo on July 22nd. In that incident, one individual was struck by gunfire. During Douglas's arrest, multiple items of evidence were collected. Late last night, evidence from the scene connected Douglas to the murder of Elijah Hughes. At 12:20 p.m. today, Ciandre Douglas was placed under arrest at the Cass County Jail by Fargo Police Department Criminal Investigations Division's detectives for the murder of Elijah Hughes. Douglas was also placed under arrest at that same time for another felony-level reckless endangerment incident in the 10 block of Broadway that occurred on July 6th of this year. We are working closely with the Cass County State's Attorney's Office as they pursue charges against Douglas for all 3 of these deadly or potential deadly incidents within the city. We are still in the process of apprehending suspect 19-year-old Tyreek Jones for the murder of Azim Holmes on August 3rd. That was the incident that occurred in the 50 block of Broadway. He is considered to be armed and dangerous. Any information on his whereabouts should be given to the Fargo Police Department through the tip line or tip 411. I want to take another moment to celebrate the great effort members of the Fargo Police Department Criminal Investigations Division has put in within the last 58 hours since this occurred. 37 sworn and 7 civilian employees within that division have put in a total of 648.75 hours within 58 hours. A total of 13 search warrants have been written to locate and obtain evidence. I want to acknowledge the outstanding teamwork within every division of the Fargo Police Department and to extend our appreciation for the incredible partnership with every law enforcement agency within the Fargo-Moorhead area, including the Cass County State's Attorney's Office, also our federal partners, all of which have contributed in one way, shape, or form to the most recent arrest and to the continued pursuit of Tyreek Jones. Jamestown Police Department was an incredible help in yesterday's warrant arrest, which eventually led to this morning's arrest for homicide. Finally, the Fargo Police Department would like to extend condolences to the family of Azim Holmes and Elijah Hughes for their devastating loss. I'm open to answer any questions at this time.
Couple questions here. Some of them are just standard to make sure I understand things. So Kenji Moses, what was his involvement on Saturday night before he was detained?
Right, so what we talked about yesterday was Kenji Moses was seen on the scene with a pistol. He then ran into a vehicle which fled from law enforcement. He fled on foot after a brief pursuit and was later arrested for a probation violation charges. His actual involvement in that incident is still under investigation.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understood all of that. And he was apprehended in that Island Park area or an apartment there?
He was apprehended away from that area.
Okay. So my next question, and this is why I wanted to clarify that. So Kenji Moses is the brother of Caleb Moses, who was the victim of a homicide in North Fargo. There was the incident in jail. Is that where some of the people involved in that were including the shooter, were assaulted. Is that being looked at as this potential for this feud going on, what led up to this weekend?
Again, we're looking at all kinds of different angles as to where this feud might have started. Not willing to answer that question at this time until we can investigate more further.
Just was wondering if there's any update on the condition of the other two shooting victims?
One victim is still in critical condition, hospitalized. The other was treated and released.
Just want to get some clarification on Douglas. So there was 2 other incidents he was involved in back in July. Was he arrested around during that time, or was he on the loose since you guys apprehended him in Jamestown?
Both incidents in July. The one which we arrested him for occurred on July 22nd. That's where the 2 open warrants had been issued last week. We were not able to tie him to the July 6th case until we retrieved evidence yesterday and were able to tie those cases together.
Chief, Captain Bobby Fallett, Valley News Live. Just wondering if you can give an update on the status of Tyreek Jones. We saw that on the court records. There was a warrant out for his arrest. He was facing about 5 charges. There is nothing on there now on the criminal records. Are you able to provide any update, speaking with the Cass County, the Attorney's Office, why those charges have been possibly removed? Do we know where he might be at this time?
I'm not sure what you're referencing in terms of charges being removed, but they did issue a warrant for him for murder, and that's in the system. So I'm not sure about.
It's no longer there in the system. Sorry, it's no longer there in the system today. So we don't. Speaking with the Attorney's Office, is there any reason why that has been removed?
It's not removed from the NCIC system. He's still actively warranted and being sought, so I'm not sure what the issue is on the state side. But rest assured that that warrant is active. We have federal partners involved in assisting with locating him, and I think we're pretty confident that we'll get him in custody in the near future.
We will double check just to make sure that there's something that isn't that has been mistakenly removed. But as of an hour ago, he's still actively being searched for. He has an active warrant. He's actively being searched for right now.
Just a couple questions. Can you say what led officers to Jamestown? Was it a tip or detective work? What led to the arrest of Mr. Douglas last night?
Well, there were many things happening yesterday and even into today looking for Tyreek Jones that are all part of a current active investigation, but I can assure you that there's some great teamwork going on and some great detective work and police work going on.
Have you received any tips about Mr. Jones? Obviously, I realize you haven't apprehended him. Have you been receiving tips and they just haven't panned out, or does he seem to be a step ahead of you?
Again, part of that active investigation, not willing to disclose at this time.
And
But we would encourage people that if they do have tips or any information on the whereabouts of Tyreek Jones or any information about any of these incidents to reach out to the Fargo Police Department, either on our tip line or tip 411.
those other 2 victims, can you give those other 2 victims, can you give a gender, and have you been able to determine yet if they were innocent bystanders or if they were targeted?
Their involvement in the incident still under current investigation. 2 male victims.
This one's for Chief Sabolski, Austin Erickson, Flag Family News. This morning, Mayor Dr. Tim Mahoney was on the flag with Scott Hennon, and he said he's concerned about the police chief's ability to lead. We also had many callers call in yesterday asking for your resignation or firing. You are meeting with the mayor. What did those discussions look like?
I actually haven't met with the mayor yet.
What was that?
I haven't met with the mayor yet.
Okay. You also began this press conference. I believe you said, "I'm sorry if you were offended." What message to the community would you have? Because Commissioner Turnberg said that you came across smug and arrogant.
Well, Commissioner Turnberg wasn't at the press conference. However, I think I said I apologize if you think I didn't fully answer your questions. And really, that's the extent of it. So we have to maintain relationships, obviously, but again, our focus is highlighting the work of the department, getting this information out to the community, getting these people in custody, and keeping everyone informed.
Chief Sabolski, this question's for you. You know, obviously you just apologized at the beginning of this presser.
Sure.
Do you apologize at all for the amount of time that it took to do the first presser, for the amount of time that it took to get this initial information released to the public?
Well, I think we always try to be timely in public information. We talked with our team. I was in contact with them throughout the day. Also got the call at 2 in the morning when all of these things happened and was actively involved. We have discussions about whether or not we're going to do press releases, and the concern is always not pushing out investigative information that would compromise the investigation. So everyone from that perspective agreed we would do something on Monday as we had more information to push out. We did push a couple pieces out with the mayor as well, again, letting folks know what we're doing and that trying to alleviate some of that fear. But I heard the mayor last night talk about a policy he wants to implement to put information out sooner. You know, we're happy to work within that policy if that helps people feel, you know, safe. Certainly, we don't want them to feel unsafe. But if at any point there was a concern to any particular area of the community, we would absolutely issue those alerts. After incidents like this happen, as you can imagine, as we described, all of these suspects fled in who knows what direction. And so there isn't any specific area of town that we could say where they are and could put something out specifically to the public. Because on the other side of that coin, you know, issuing a general, everyone should be somehow concerned. It's not like an active shooter running around, but certainly something bad has happened. We don't think would be the appropriate response either. So it's kind of a trying to balance that piece and get that information out. But certainly we can put information out sooner to the public and assure them on their safety to the best we can. I mean, again, we had no idea where these people were either. And if you look at Mr. Douglas, made it all the way out to Jamestown, right, within the day.
Sorry, guys, I just got, Chief, you just said that you were aware of this incident at 2 a.m., but Sunday, you had the day off.
Yeah, I was out of town though. I wasn't not physically here. So I was on phone with them all day and through the evening, helping manage the resources, making sure everything was going well. So I talked to Captain Alfeld many times throughout the day. And so those communications were ongoing.
Is there a reason why you couldn't have just said yesterday you were out of town instead of?
I could have just said that. Yeah, I think again, I just felt like the questioning was getting beyond the focus of the press conference. And I want the focus of the press conference to be on information to the community versus personal questions about myself. But yes, I could have said that yesterday, sure.
Chief, this is for you. This morning, 2 city commissioners have called for your resignation. The mayor publicly said on the radio he questions your ability to lead this department. What's your response?
I think commissioners are entitled to their opinion. I don't question my ability to lead at all, and I'm certainly looking forward to the conversation with the mayor.
There was also discussions with the mayor and also Commissioner Dave Pepcorn, who mentioned that you said that there is more staff that is needed for the police department, and you said that on the scene there were officers that had responded right away, but a need for more departments to come in to control the unruly crowds there. I know that Pepcorn mentioned that there probably needs to be more police officers in the downtown area after the bars close. What is your response on that? Do you think that there needs to be more officers that are hired within the police department?
Well, I think there's something that we absolutely agree on. And I have been saying that for several years, asking for additional full-time sworn positions. And that's the only way that you actually staff all the areas of the city, including the downtown. We are understaffed compared to our comparable others and the state and national average. And so that's what we've been working on going forward, and that is something that only the commission can approve. They have to look at the budget and approve what they think they can afford. But I think absolutely our staffing of full-time sworn individuals is well below where we should be. We're excited that going into next year, we're going to at least add 9 positions from the public safety sales tax. But that's really about a third of what we need to be, what I would say, even up to snuff in a more manageable fashion. So we're going to keep working on that going forward in future budgets.
What do you think is a compatible, like full staff, what is?
Well, our goal, and
preferred
and again, I would refer you to our strategic plan. It's on our website. Our goal has been, for the past several years, to reach a percentage of officer per thousand to 1.6 per thousand. And the national state average is 2.0 per thousand. West Fargo's 2.0 per thousand. And so when you have a more robust staff, that affords a lot more not only proactive time and engagement time, but it affords work-life balance for the staff. We can increase the shift staffing. We can have more directed patrols, and people aren't fatigued coming in on their off day. To the credit of our current staff, as I said yesterday, since like the second weekend in July, we have people volunteering 3 to 4 to crack every Friday and Saturday night. They're coming in at that time, like 11 o'clock, and working 4 hours of overtime, patrolling downtown on foot. We've got a real-time crime center, which Captain Alfell is also staffed on overtime as much as possible, so that we've got that presence in there. All of that's paid off very big, and all of these things. Of course, we can't prevent every incident from happening, but we were right there, and we were right on it, and chasing one of the guys. And so, again, I think just from an overall staffing perspective, yes, we need to continue to add.
You mentioned that it was your day off and you were out of town on Sunday when these shootings happened. Where were you?
I was in Florida,
What were you doing in Florida?
personal business.
You have a home there?
No, I don't, sir.
I kind of maybe want to have you address just like the public perception of the whole thing. I mean, Commissioner Pepcorn likes to say, nobody wants to go downtown anymore because it's just crazy down there, and nobody but I feel like that's not fair to say, because plenty of people are downtown enjoying themselves on the bars and the unruliness that happens when the bars close. Is it fair for you to say Fargo is safe, but also I need more police officers? I mean, there's kind of like just these two dichotomies that are happening on both of your parts.
Right, so fair question, and it is fair to say Fargo's safe, and I need more cops. And the reason is, and the logic is, the cops that we have are working a lot of hours. And if you look at our overtime statistics and our overall ability to staff shifts, we need more people across the board at all levels of the organization. From top to bottom, we don't have enough people in our organization to be on the street, to supervise, to manage, et cetera. And so while we are safe, my comments have always been, in a lot of budget discussions, is we're fortunate that we're this safe and that our folks are coming in at 3 in the morning and doing this job and are out there every day on their shift doing this job, but that is not sustainable. And so that's my message of alarm going forward, is that we need to build our staff up, because down the road, we're not going to be able to cut it with the staff that we have. People are going to burn out. The generations that we're hiring now, the Z generation, they are not, while they are committed, at some juncture, they don't want to work all the time either, and they enjoy their off time. And so if we can't accommodate that, that's going to be a bad combination in the future. So we're very fortunate to be where we're at, but we need to keep building.
Chief, quick question for you. I know you've talked about you're out of town, and I don't think anybody's debating, like, you're allowed to go on vacation or not. But I think what people want to know is, even if you're out of town and something like a major event like this happens, could someone else go out there and speak?
Sure.
Because I know when other events happen across the country, maybe the chief might not be there, but there's someone there just to even address it even a few hours after. What do you say to
Yeah,
that?
no, absolutely. And we have a chain of command for that reason. Our discussions really along the lines of investigation, whether or not we want to put a press conference, what do we have to provide, to the community from that perspective. But yes, someone else could do that press conference, so that's really not the issue.
I'm not tech savvy. This is for you, Captain Alfell.
Yeah.
We're familiar with the one incident. Just refresh our minds, what was the July 6th incident on the block on Broadway that you referenced?
Well, again, still under current investigation, but a basic of it is that there were shots fired into a vehicle in that block.
Chief, this question is for you. Talking about yesterday, you kind of said that things maybe got at the end a little bit carried away in a sense, but two families are grieving, two people are dead, and again, the attention turned to the lack of what you kind of had to say and how you said and what the way that you just said it. What is your message to the victims' families at this time?
Sure, and absolutely, I started out with yesterday, if you recall, giving condolences to the families of both of them, and certainly they're in our thoughts and prayers, and that's why we're working so hard to bring these people in and get justice for them. So we did highlight that yesterday, certainly happy to reiterate that today. I think that's the feelings of all of our personnel as they work on these cases, and as Captain Allfeld covered, that amount of personnel, that amount of hours, that's a lot of time commitment on these cases. This isn't a normal event for our city, but again, I really have to compliment the teamwork, the high-performing teamwork of our department members. When something like this happened, they responded expertly. We work with our partners to help manage all these different scenes and the crowds, and from that perspective, I think it has gone as well as it could be done. And again, I would say that to be, where are we, 2 days in, 2+ days following the incident, to have one person in custody, the second one being sought, I think that's tremendous. You don't see that in every city either, and again, I think that goes towards the competency of our team across the board. They do an excellent job.
Can you mention at all at any time, where do we think Tyreek Jones is? Do we think he is still in the state of North Dakota?
Sure. We can't comment on that, but we are actively looking for him.
All right, that was the final question. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Mayor Mahoney, do you have any?